Welcome back, friend. Today, we're going to have a really yummy, juicy conversation around the emotional wave. So stay tuned. Thank you for being here again, my friends. Leann Wolff, your human design professional and your BG5 business and career consultant. So I get to every day, because I have the best life ever, I get to help you, the service entrepreneur, build a consistently profitable business by embracing your human design mechanics so you can actually experience your purpose in your work and in your play. That's important to actually be able to see it. Okay, so today's conversation, I want to have a disclaimer right here at the very beginning, and why we are going to talk about the plant medicine and magic mushrooms in this conversation. And I want you to know this. I want you to know this deeply. I am not advocating for this. I am not saying go out and do it. If you choose to do it, you must be supported by a professional who can walk you through a plant medicine journey. This is in no way, shape, or form Am I saying go do this in order to figure out your own human design? I am not. I am sharing one of the experiences of my clients. I brought her on to do an interview to talk about her emotional wave and her process on how she kind of found it, how she began to lean deeper into it. So her and I kind of have a conversation around this. She's a projector or an advisor in the business world. And it's interesting to really hear her perspective, because I am a manifesting generator and I do not have an emotional authority. So the interview, or the conversation, I guess it's not really an interview. I was asking her some questions, but I'm not the best at that. So it's not my strength. Let's just put it that way. But what's important is that you can learn from it or not, whatever you want to do. You can connect with her if you want to have a deeper conversation. She's magic in my eyes. She's taken herself from a very, very low space to a space where she is quite wise for her age. And plant medicine has helped her do that in the last few years. So join me. Her name is Crystal Tomchuk. And if you have any comments or questions, please drop them in, and let's play around and see what Crystal has to say about her emotional wave and how she experienced it and found it. All right. Welcome back, friends. Guess what? We have a really interesting day for you today. We are going to talk with Crystal Tomchuk. And Crystal is a projector. Thank you for being here, Crystal. Crystal and I have been interacting with each other for, I don't know, it probably feels like lifetimes, but around 7 years, I'm going to say around that, probably, or more. I don't know.
I went back on Facebook to see
did you?
And it did say it's been about 7 years.
There you go. That's cute. Awesome. So Crystal's here today because she is, she's going through some really, really, really deep introspective work. And I love this because I find that our projectors, I feel, don't do enough of that, in my opinion, because they're very concerned about the other person. Now, Crystal is really going to break that down for us today. However, I appreciate Crystal's process in this. I appreciate her projectorhood. Her and I, again, are Facebook friends. So when I read her posts and I comment and stuff like that, then her and I have conversations. She shares a lot of her stuff with me. And I just wanted her here to talk about truly what the emotional authority, what that process was for her and how she met it in a way that's kind of unconventional. And I don't have an emotional authority, Crystal. So this is going to be very important for my people to hear this out of your voice, someone who has that emotional authority and can share this with us. So thank you for being here, Crystal, and welcome.
Thank you.
Awesome. So let's play around with let's play around with, I don't want to go right deep into the emotional authority quite yet. I want you to just give me a little background of your journey with human design and understanding it and moving through this process.
So it feels like the journey, because that's why I looked to see when we started friendship, because I assume it was probably pretty much right about that time that you would have shown me my chart. Because I was like, has it been the 7 years? It must be close. And yeah, it's pretty close to that, if not it. It feels honestly like the journey has been me not seeing it until the last few half a year, that it's really been much more prominent in my awareness as to what it is. Even though I knew it's been repeated, wait for the invitation, because that as a projector is what I'm supposed to do. And I don't, or I haven't at all. It's just, a generic post on a Facebook being like, FML. And I'm like, well, you know what you could do? And blah, 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 blah. That's not an invitation. So yeah, I'm a projector, an emotional one. I'm actually quite filled in, which is cool, because I've seen that a lot of projectors are really open.
Yeah.
And 6'2", the role model hermit, which has been interesting. There it is, right, filled.
There it is.
Now I want to read like all the words on there. What else is there? There's been, I feel like honestly, I haven't listened to it very much, and I have hit a lot of walls of people that, they don't want to know. I just recently saw a girl on a projector Facebook page say that she went around to the other, the generator pages and all these other pages on Facebook. And she said that they don't really like projectors very much, what she said she found. And everyone's like saying this stuff. And I just commented, I'm like, it's probably because we don't know how to wait for the invitation. We're just forcing ourselves into everybody being like, womp, womp, like, excuse me. Like, so I can't blame them, honestly, if anybody else is like me, where we're just like, well, I just know everything and I'm just gonna zone in on everybody. So it's been fun. I'm so glad. Now I'm only now starting to really recognize, I feel like now really is the time. I've been telling more and more friends about it and being like, you got some time to take it in now and integrate it, because I'm really feeling the need to know that inner authority.
Yes.
I feel like it's true that's all we're going to have soon, is this inner authority. And if you are not knowing how to listen to it when the time comes, it's going to be much harder than this next how many years, 6 or 5 or so to kind of get it.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And really what Crystal's alluding to here is our shift that we're going into in 2027, where we move from the cross of planning to the cross of the sleeping phoenix. And that truly is learning how to live our own autonomy, make decisions based on autonomy. So Crystal's here to talk to us about the emotional authority. So let's dive in. Let's do this. I want to hear, what was the stimulus that led you to this place of really grasping the emotional authority? And I'm just going to let you speak
right.
and go for it.
Well, thank you. So it'll be a longer story after, but very long story short, in one word, what deeply brought me there was psilocybin, magic mushrooms.
Nice.
I quit drinking 6 years ago. So I was like, no drugs. And I'm a Kundalini yoga teacher, breath, all the things that are your natural body, internal ways to connect with self. So there was a lot of judgment within my being of no drugs, it has to be this natural, organic way. Everything was so no to that. Until this year, things have been whispering and dreams and just waking experiences, people showing up with paintings that had mushrooms and like just things that were really calling to me. And so I surrendered to it. I remember saying to my girlfriends before we tried about 6 months ago, I journey as well with Dalal Oliver, who's with Awakening the Dreamer, and she's helped me so much with shamanic ways of connecting. And my dreamer as well, which I consider to be more like your higher self, your guide, the authority. But how did it go? I said to my girlfriends, I feel like my dreamer is trying to get me out of the way, like out of my own way, because there's things I can't see. There's things I'm still stuck in. And that's exactly what she has shown me. So I've journeyed with them gradually and been shown the most profound ways that my head has been in my ass. I can't begin to explain how much they've shown me of my ego and how it stands in the way, and what a gift. But anyways, about 4 weeks ago, I embarked on a journey with friends, on a plant medicine journey. So I create a beverage and I drink it with them. And before we were taking the beverage, I was feeling all this stuff in my body. There was nerves and trepidation, feeling like, oh my goodness, are we going into a, as they call, a bad trip? I hadn't experienced one of those yet. All the other times it was golden. I was also purging out both ways. Like there was lots in the body going on, but it was, we're going to drink it. It's fine. We're going to go right in. We're going to face whatever this is. And away we go. And so I'm up to, we already hit the peak. When you're on your journey, you go up, you hit the peak, you ride there for a while, then you come down. So it wasn't even like it was here. It was more at the end and downwards that just this big energy came up. And I just call it the biggest initiation of my life so far. Hard to explain it other than I found myself belly down, face down on the bathroom floor, just surrendering as deeply to this experience as I could, because I was being shown my unconscious addict, my unconscious fearful person who goes out and manipulates and does things and thinks that she can rise above the teachings and just take and not sit at the feet of the elders. Like it was the most, I said to my friends afterwards that I feel like the mushroom gods found all the hands they could and slapped me in all the dimensions they could, and then made more of me to slap, because it was wild, but it was so beautiful, because I was being shown that this is a part of my role as a person, the initiator, to show people they're not self, but to know the difference between when you're being initiated versus initiating somebody in a when it becomes torture, in a sense. Especially if I'm holding space for people in mushrooms, I need to know what that's like to be in a bad trip, or else it's not, you're not helping if you don't know what it's like on the inside of that. So anyways, while I'm on the floor, belly down, face down, just bowing to the mushroom gods and my ego being completely broken in half in the most beautiful way, I heard my body like out loud say, "You're not listening to me." And when I heard that, I thought food. It's always been food for me, and trying to, you got to eat better, blah, 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 all this stuff. But as I made it through this experience, and I actually was left quite shook. And before this, I had journeyed, probably every 1 or 2 weekends, in between there. On the weekend, I would every first or second. But I was pretty shook. So I waited 3 full weeks before I was even feeling maybe I'm going to have another journey, because I do want to continue to find these beautiful parts of me. So as I was sitting there with my partner, Josh, we were about to have this journey. Our brew was made, and I have this extreme amount of fear, more than I've ever felt before I'm about to take this brew coming up. And I'm really purging lots and lots. And I'm sitting there with him, I'm breathing. I'm like, it's just of the mind. Fear is okay. I can feel a bit of inner child who's afraid of what else I may find in the dark depths of my soul. And I felt it. And I even said to Josh, I'm like, I feel like it's like this wave that keeps coming of like, no, it's okay. No. And it's just like, I could feel this fear, so much fear. And I actually cried while he held me before, like just holding this medicine. But that's what I think is so beautiful about this medicine, is it works after you've taken it, before you've taken it. It's a medicine that works with you forever. I took 2 sips. I decided, okay, I'm going to take 2 little sips. The whole big chunks are on the bottom. So we'll just do this and sit with it and see. And it was like 2 minutes after taking the 2 sips, it just all of a sudden hit me. And I looked at Josh and I said, oh my gosh, that's my emotional wave. I'm riding my wave. I'm like, I literally just told you that I'm riding a wave. It feels like I'm riding a wave. I'm like, that's why what the heck? And I'm I'm being made aware of all this pressure before to take it. That's why I took the 2 sips, because the mind is saying, you have a babysitter, the brew is made in the cup. Josh is here waiting to journey with you. You know, you have a trip report about this new strain. All this pressure of my mind of, you need to do this. And I was like, no, I'm not in clarity. I was like, wow, Josh, like, you absolutely drink the rest of your beverage, but I'm not going to drink the rest of this. I'm not in clarity. And I legit felt like there was a little bit of the experience came on with a little bit of sips. But I felt my body legit say thank you. And it was just before it said thank you that I realized that's what it was saying upstairs in the bathroom floor. You're not listening to me.
Right.
It was just like, to me, just so profound to finally, after 6 years, be like, that's the way.
Awesome. So here's what, here's what I hear you say.
Yes.
Is there's a lot of languaging out there, right? We go in and we research and we read and we're reading and we're reading, but it is until we actually experience it. And it's in the cells. Now it is in your cellular structure that you will now be able to recognize it in a deeper way. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So in that moment, prior to, you're laying there, and when it said, the body and you went to food right away, what was the aspect that allowed you to then connect the two dots? Was it just the wave when you said to him, and then all of a sudden you heard, oh, that's what I heard upstairs? Is that what happened? Or were in between then and here, were there aspects where you were starting to ride different waves so that you could now really solidify this into your body? Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. For me, I feel like it was literally that moment when it was like, that's my wave. And then it was like, that's that voice.
Okay. Awesome. And since that experience, had there been any invitations or decisions that you are in at the moment riding the wave? Is there anything that you can share about that?
I'm not too sure. I do know I was curious. I was driving out to the photo shoot for the Shield Maiden yesterday, and I had a lot. I said to Josh on the way out there that I can feel pretty much like that same wave. I was like, if this was me going on a plant medicine journey, I know that I was on the wave and maybe shouldn't do this. So I was curious with that, and maybe you can help me with that, and for other people as well listening, about the emotional wave. Should I have turned my car around and said, even though all this stuff was ready for this beautiful event, and once I got there, everything dissipated. And I know I was tired yesterday too, so maybe that's part of it. I'm curious. I feel great today and I don't regret it. But I was curious driving out there because I could definitely feel it felt like that similar sensation.
Okay. So the only thing that I would say is the sensation might have been similar, but here's the important piece of the emotional aspect is you are dealing with the nervous system, because that's what the emotional intelligence, that's what the solar plex is. It's the nervous system. So you are actually designed to be nervous before a new experience. And it's not as though that nervousness is saying, how should I say this? Stop. but it's to just breathe into, okay, this is a new experience. Have the conversation with the cellular structure. Is this nervousness? Let's put it this way. Have the conversation with your cellular structure on, is this nervousness telling me to stop, that I'm not in clarity? Or is this nervousness, this excitement to continue to go forward and experience this so I can share it? Does that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because they're going to be similar, right? Because it's like, it's the nervous system. But there's two different things happening. One's telling you to stop and one's telling you to go have the experience so you can then support other people having the same experience.
Mm-hmm.
And that for me, I think is probably one of the most important pieces of human design. Is that, like, I could tell you everything that I think based off of your design, but I'm not in your cells.
Makes sense.
Right?
Yeah, and I guess I can see that difference now. Like, it was more so feeling kind of the sickness or the icky in the body versus before the plant medicine, it was definitely emotion. There was a wave of emotions. It wasn't just feeling like, ugh, I kind of feel icky. It was icky plus fear. Like, there was tears, there was a whole bunch of, and right now I'm seeing like this image of like feet out that are putting the brakes on.
Okay, excellent.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So then now you can play with it, right? And now you can really have these conversations with the cells to maybe differentiate those two a little bit more, so that when making decisions, it becomes more clear. This is a no, this is a stop, and this is a yes, go forward, and know that the nervousness is there to kind of, get you intrigued in the whole process. Right?
Makes sense.
Yeah. I love it. I have a couple questions here for you, but one of the questions that I think is also important for my projector viewership is for each person to actually define recognition and being noticed for themselves. I think that's really important, because I think the definitions for you guys is really what's important. Is you guys have to say, this is what recognition feels like. This is what being noticed feels like. So have you been able to define that for yourself? What does recognition for Crystal really look like for you, or feel like, or, what is the sensation of it?
So as you asked that, the word value really comes up for me, to feel valued. I remember listening to Tanis McRae speak about, as a projector, that we do have great superpowers, and that it's not to just be wasted, that it holds deep value. And I'm seeing that more and more. And no wonder we get annoyed. I have this amazing gift, here you go. Like, they didn't ask for it. And then we're mad at them. Why didn't you like your gift? But and I really felt it when I messaged you and told you about this experience. And when you invited me, and as I say it, I can feel it in my throat, and it wells up in little tears of, for me at the moment when you invited me to do this, it was my heart that it felt valued. It felt recognized that I had something of value to share, and knowing that it would be held in a platform that it was received.
Ooh.
It felt so good.
That sentence right there. Held in a platform where it will be received. That's a beautiful sentence. That's a beautiful sentence. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so welcome. I totally honor what you're doing with your mushroom, the mushroom magic and moving through that. I started microdosing a few months ago just to, be in this business in a different way, to actually be able to really totally take it in cellularly when I'm with my clients. So that's really what this has allowed me to do.
Yeah.
So in saying that, now I want to kind of switch the conversation to, like, can you define what success means for you as a projector? Is there a definition that has brewed up in your cells that allow you to go, that felt like success?
It definitely would. I'm feeling that, I feel a thank you. Just anything, any interaction where it ends in thank you. Like, that really helped me see myself. Because I know that I see deep. I really see deep. I see it as at a soul or a source level. And I know Josh has said many times, he's like, how do you always know what to say to people when they ask? I'm like, well, when you know the formula, it's just bring them back to self all the time. It's pretty straightforward, just come back here. So to me, success is sharing a space with people that are wanting to look deep within themselves, that are willing to not project, even though I'm a projector, to not project onto the mirror or the dream that is outside of them. To me, to continue to invite people to look within and see the projector instead of trying to deal with the projection in their world.
Nice.
And I'm just seeing, like, just cleaning, the lens, so you can see much better that we're all just characters in each other's beautiful dream. To me, that's it. Inviting people deeper to look within, and what a world that would be when we're all like, no, this is my shit.
Right. Yes. So now let me just take this a little bit deeper.
Please do.
What does it feel like in the cells? What is success? Can you put it into any kind of language? Because I know, of course, the English language is a little restrictive, but is there any kind of language that you could say for you can language it for your cells?
It's interesting. I'm curious about it. The word that comes up when you're asking that is acceptance. I question that one because I'm like, do you need acceptance? But the word that comes up is acceptance.
Nice.
But it makes sense that if you are being invited, then it is accepted.
Yes. Awesome. Perfect. I love it. All right. I'm going to ask you one more good one for our viewers. So what is a genuine invitation? What does that look like? What does that feel like? Is there a sound to it? Is there body language to it? What is that for you?
The dialogue, I guess, that comes up, even what you had said when I messaged you, and you're like, I think you said like juicy. I'm getting kind of something similar to that, like the whole, wow, you've got something that has great value. Would you like to share it? Would you like to share that thing that you've got that just is? Something along that is the way it feels like to me. That invitation, that's how it feels. And that's how it looks like energetically. It's recognition.
Awesome. Nice. So because we have Crystal's chart up here and this is what I do for a living, and because I find so much joy in it. So here's what I think is so interesting. Okay. Is one of the things that you said to me is you want to be recognized for your value. And truly, this is what the heart center, the ego center, that's what its desire is. Okay. Now, in saying that, this is a part of the not self. However, this is what I want everyone to really, really grasp is that openness actually is where we go out and have experiences. And that's where clients and human beings and experiences come in through us because we're open there. For me, it's like this revolving door of a mall, or, it's like a plane trip out and a plane trip in. It's like this two-way street. Okay.
Mm.
So what I love is that it gathers wisdom. It gains wisdom as you tread on this earth plane, you're gathering the wisdom. And what you really, really want to be recognized for is all the wisdom that you've gathered.
Mm.
It's all that wisdom creates value. And now you get to share it with others. Okay. The other word that was so interesting was juicy, because that's really, you know, the sacral center, there's juice there. It's a juicy center, because what it's doing, it's like, you know, I look at it as an orange. Here's the potential. And then when you squeeze it and you massage it and you chew it, all of a sudden the juice can come out. It's like using the energy correctly. Or I also look at it as a battery. And a battery also has juice in it, right? You want to get onto that juice. So those invitations, they do feel juicy, because what goes on is you get to hook yourself on to the correct battery to now share your wisdom and allow for Crystal's projector hood to then be seen and recognized. Does that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Okay.
Very cool.
And then the other thing that I really love, and now, you know, you might be going, but Leann, we're looking at all of this openness. This is all not self, but this is your life. This is where you have your life experiences. And the 56, which is part of, you know, how you're going to hook yourself up, your triple splits. 56 is all about stimulation. So it's of no surprise to me that stimulation is coming through mushrooms. You tried alcohol, right? You tried that. It wasn't the correct stimulation. The correct stimulation here is mushrooms, which now leads you into a deeper curiosity. And that curiosity is actually helping you connect your intuition so that your value and the juiciness can then be shown to the world.
Mm. Wow. So cool.
It is cool. It is cool. And then how you deliver this, you know, you're sharing this with your tribe. You're sharing all of this information. Like if anybody wants to connect with Crystal on Facebook, feel free, because her posts go very deep, and she's also effing hilarious. She puts some really funny shit on there, because really what you're doing is you're helping people like really see themselves and laugh at it. Right? Because it's kind of funny.
Very funny.
Like how, right?
Very funny.
You know, we get so attached to this identity of I am Leann. No, you're not. No, I'm not a Leann. I am all that is and all that ever will be, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you get to support your tribe and looking at, you know, what do they actually need? And people actually need to go deep. Mm-hmm. And you are tenacious at living your individuality. Like there, you don't pull off of that. If you guys look at Crystal's hair right now, right? If you go into her Facebook page, like the images and the posts and the pictures and the songs, she's like, I'm going to be me. And that's it. And that, my friends, is so important. As well, she's helping other leaders by absolutely representing leaders in her own life. She's leading herself to the spaces and places through the correct decision making. And she is a leader in this. You know, I know lots of people that have done mushrooms. Nobody's talking about it because they're still scared of the backlash, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Crystal's leading the way here. And again, this individuality, sharing her individual experiences so that she can be empowered, but also share that empowerment with her tribe and with the collective so that when they are ready, she can be there to lead them to where they need to go. So thank you for being you. I love it.
Thank you. That's really amazing. And I knew that the plant medicines, the mushrooms have told me that I know that I'll be discredited by many, but I know that it'll be heard by the ears that are ready. And even the ones that don't think they're ready, it's whispering and it's planting little seeds of awareness and opening. And oh, I heard that somewhere, or, it's been beautiful. And people have been messaging, hey, what about this stuff? And what do you think of this? Or, I know you're the only one who could hear this kind of a story of my meditation experience, because they know that I've seen some weird stuff. So that's really cool. And I thank you so much for all that you saw on there and sharing that. Like, I've valued you so much. There comes a point in time in the journey where you feel like there's only so many people that could possibly grasp the way out there concepts that you're touching. And I've always appreciated that you've always been one of the ones that I can message when I feel like there's like 2 or 3 max that I know of that could possibly understand where I am. And you always get it, and you're always right there, and I appreciate it.
And thank you for asking me and inviting me into that, because I love that. I love that. So here's what else I'm going to share with our viewers and with Crystal is when Crystal says that, she's like, you're one of the ones that can hear me. So this little tiny 5 right here. Okay, this is what we call base theory. Okay. Now this is along your fractal line. That's what the nodes really are. It's our fractal line. So it's like you're walking down a street and it's all the people that are along the sidewalk walking with you. They're in cars beside you. These are all the people that are moving with you. Well, this beautiful little 5 is actually, that's the base theory that I hold. And what that truly is it's all about holding space. So at the core and the heart of who I am, I hold space. And because you and I are walking down the same path, that's why we can hear each other. That's why I can recognize the depth of you. And that's why you can recognize that I'm the one that can also hold space for you. It's so crazy. Isn't it crazy?
Just love all the things you can find on there.
Oh, right. So Crystal, is there anything that you want to say before we chat about, anything that you have to offer for my viewership? Is there anything else that is really important that you would like to present to the viewers here on the channel?
I just feel it's so crucial right now to look in and to keep looking in and then to continue to look in, because 5-6 years of, I've had people, I've posted about, on plant medicines, and I've had people say, you need to do it a natural way. You should look into maybe Reiki or yoga, and I say, I'm a Reiki master teacher. I'm a yoga teacher. I'm a breath practitioner. I get that. No, that's not the only route. Plant medicines aren't the only route, and it's not the route for many. But I feel like Mother Earth is calling so deeply to bring us back home, to deep medicines that I could cry just connecting in with what these medicines have shown me about myself, about each other, the truth, and how much they've allowed me to open up deeper to my own human design. To me, I found that uncanny how deeply that opened, and continuously just lets me, the ego. I was saying when you were talking earlier about the ego, the self that we cling to. I was talking with a friend about, the ego and bringing it to her awareness, because she was having some relationship issues. And when she saw it, she's like, "Oh, I don't really like this ego." And I was like, the funny thing is that's ego that's saying he doesn't like ego. She's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's layers and layers and layers."
Exactly.
So I guess I invite us to come deeper, and the more I can find that space that's before the ego, just that space that unites us all, that is just the consciousness, not the good, right, wrong, I like this, I don't like this, you're you, I'm me, the part that's before, that's just aware. And it's really cool. The more I can get sinking deeper and remember to come back to that space, like, what a beautiful world this is. And all of a sudden it can teach me something.
Yes. Awesome. So while you're speaking there, what I heard and what was, bumping in is in one of our conversations, you had indicated, there's some talk that possibly Rob was on, plant medicine or LSD or something, when he downloaded the voice and downloaded all of this. And I don't know for sure or not, but I do know that like Ross spent a lot of time testing and playing with drugs, and he says it a lot. And that was one of his things, was what we do when we lean into the awareness of our human design is we get to go to the beginning before the start. So we get to go to that place where it is the consciousness field. It's no thing that we now can direct into a thing. Right? Mm-hmm. So that's really fun.
I know he said that. I love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was actually, he's very, very smart, very deep, very, very introspective, very introspective. Is there anything that you would, anywhere or any space that you would direct anybody that, wants to, look at the potential of plant medicine? Is there any research that you've done or anything that you want to share about that?
There's definitely a lot of books I've been reading. If I pull up right now, there is a specific, it's been interesting actually, this author, I believe he's still alive. I came across one of his books, which was about, the history of drugs and stuff like that, which has been really interesting. But where's the guy? The Pikal, it's called. Alexander Shulgin is an interesting person who really, him and his wife, he actually, I believe he pioneered a lot. And years ago, he went deep and just took all the psychedelics in different increments, and he was allowed to study them. He was a scientist and he was looking into it all, and he tested them all on himself and his wife, and he had a small test group to find what is this and what does it do. And so it's been interesting to read about him. But anywhere really, just looking up psilocybin microdosing, psilocybin PTSD, psilocybin, depression, because what they're learning about it is that it finds, to me, what it does is it takes the unconscious and pulls it right above the conscious, and it links things that you never would have thought. They have that image online of like they show the brain, when it's just on, it just shows a couple little lines here and there, and versus on psilocybin, it's like a chemical, a network of neural pathways being connected. And so it's very much like that when you're in the experience. It's a dimensional awareness. It's not of words. It's not of thought. It's you're touching 5 different experiences at once, and it all makes sense. And so really just Googling psilocybin or medicinal mushrooms, it's even the ones that aren't psychedelic hold huge potential as far as what they help with the brain. Yes. And the psilocybin, the bacteria of it, has so many connections. Like, I'm trying to think of the word now. Not the psilocybin, but it's going to pop up in my head and I'll be like, duh. Roots that go underneath.
Okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like they connect the trees. And to me,
yes.
I've learned that not only do they connect the trees underneath the earth, and they can all connect. It's like a telecommunication underneath with all. They connect neural pathways, and then they connect your life outside of you and friends. And that's something I found. They bring you deeply into a connection of authenticity. I feel that we really crave that right now, is authentic friendships, like truth. And I feel like that's what they allow, even in the microdose. How have you found microdosing?
Yeah. And what I hear, like, I don't know the word either. I know it, like, it's right there. I can. Right. It's like this network, but
a dose so that we can connect the brain.
and truly, No, I'm not telling, my watchers or listeners here to go out and, do plant medicine. That's definitely not. Research yourself, definitely go into your own authority. But what I see is like you say, it's the nervous system. And what those mushrooms allowed you to do is to tap deeper into that nervous system. Because the nervous system really truly does look like the network underneath the trees and the network underneath the mushrooms, right? Whatever the heck that network is called. Somebody will throw it here in the comments, hopefully. I can't remember. But yeah, so if anybody here wants to do that, please make sure you get a support mechanism. Do not just go and get mushrooms and go home and do it yourself, because that is dangerous. Make sure you have somebody who can hold that space for you, for sure. That's not me, for sure. I'm not gonna lie, but there'll be somebody in your space that can do that. You want to have somebody actually physically there in your space, not just through a Zoom call or anything like that, right?
Definitely. Yeah, you don't want to be all alone in it, definitely. Right,
exactly. Okay, so is there anything that you want to share with my group of watchers here about any offerings? Like what do you do, Crystal? What can you offer my people so that they can connect with you?
For me, my favorite thing to do is the one-on-one, my Reiki / intuitive readings. I connect with your highest self and just channel pretty much straight source through me. That's actually where I've come to so many awarenesses. Only through the shutdown of COVID did I realize how much that was my meditation. And when I didn't have clients and I wasn't tapping into source and speaking things through me to them and then hearing it and being like, that's really good. And they're like, what do you mean? Don't you know what you just said? I'm like, no, I'm should be paying you actually, because you're teaching me this. Because it's really amazing, cool stuff, the visuals. And so that's my favorite. That's something I love to do in person. It can also be online via phone or Zoom or anything like that, just to tap in. I really do what a projector does, is tap into your energy field. I can feel sensations, like it images. Your body will tell me the story it's holding in certain places. Like the shoulders, I've just recently come to understand in my language that shoulders represent should. Shoulding on ourselves. I should carry this, all the weight, and we should all over ourselves all the time.
All the time.
Right? It's been interesting. And I'm like, I make sure I'm like, I can't tell people not to should on themselves. That's shoulding on them. But yeah, it's interesting. But I love to connect with people on the deep, authentic. Anybody who's wanting to look deeper, I'm more than willing to look. And it's through so much compassion and love, because in my depths, I found the depth. And there's this saying that I have in my basement here. Whenever people come here in groups, I always tell them there's nothing that you could bring here that I can't love. And I mean it. And to me, that's like, it's my core. Find the darkest, the scariest, the anythingest that I can in life. And how can I find it within me first and love it, and then love it in others? So to me, that's the essence of what I am. Bring me the heaviest. It's my gift and honor to be able to hold it. And if you can't love it yet, I will, until we learn how to. That's my offering.
That's so beautiful. And I can feel that.
Right? Me too.
Yeah.
So that I was like, oh, that's the core of me.
Nice. Awesome. So I will put in the descriptions how you can connect with Crystal if you choose to do that. And if you want to connect with her and even have a conversation with her about mushrooms, or, connect with her, get a reading, speak with her more about her emotional authority. I think that you would be open to that. So invite her in. Okay. She's a projector, so you got to invite her. Yeah. And then she can definitely walk you through some interesting aspects of self. All right, young lady. So just stick on. I'm going to stop the recording and you and I can have a chat afterwards. But I thank you very much, everybody. And I thank Crystal for being here. I'm so honored that you were able to share that with me and my people. So
thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.